I seek refuge in Allah from Satan, the rejected, in the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful. May peace, mercy, and blessings of Allah be upon you. All brothers and sisters, we begin today's video with this beautiful supplication. May Allah the Exalted fulfill all your permissible needs, resolve all your problems, grant abundant blessings and increase in your lawful sustenance. Ameen, O Lord of the worlds. Respected viewers, Allah the Exalted praises the person who recites one surah of the noble Quran as much as possible. The Prophet of mercy, peace and blessings be upon him, said that you should recite this surah repeatedly. Those people who, whether walking or sitting, keep reciting this particular surah, Allah, the Blessed and Exalted, sends peace upon them, and Allah praises such a person. Allah glorified and exalted mentions that person among his angels and showers him with his mercy and blessings. The noble Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, also said that if a servant recites this surah before Allah and extends his hands in supplication, Allah the Pure immediately accepts that person's prayer. Whatever need or requirement the person has is fulfilled. Indeed, all praise is for that Creator of the universe who established the entire cosmos and its system. The greatest favor of Allah upon us is that He made us the noblest of creation and then honored us with the blessing of the religious of Islam. Next, to sustain the system of life, He created fertile land and trees. He provided fruits, produce, and nourishment to maintain balance on earth. He created mountains, then seas and rivers. He bestowed upon us the blessing of rainfall from the sky and adorned the sky with the moon, the sun, and the stars. He created livestock and birds. Even if we look reflectively at ourselves, Allah glorified, exalted, created us with the best balance. He made all our bodily organs correct and sound and formed our internal organs in the best way. Then He gave us relatives, relationships, happiness, cheerfulness, wealth, health, and well-being. All of these, dear viewers, fall under the category of risk sustenance. The truth is that we cannot fully count the noble favors of that exalted being, nor can we properly offer thanks for His blessings, because even if all the seas of this world were turned into ink and all the trees into pens, they would still be unable to completely express the praise and greatness of Allah. Glorified and exalted, every single drop of blood flowing within our bodies ought to be grateful to that holy essence. All good deeds indeed come from Allah alone, and all praises are due to that true Master. If we reflect on just this one phrase of Allah, glorified and exalted Lord of the worlds, and we realize, dear viewers, that Allah is not referring to just one world or realm. Rather, He is speaking of all the realms, whether they are apparent or hidden. Allah alone knows how many worlds and universes exist in this creation, worlds known only to Him and created only by Him. Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, must be loved by us as part of our faith, and without that, our faith cannot be complete. Allah the Exalted says in Surah Hatba that, O Prophet, peace and blessings be upon you if your forefathers and your children and your brothers and your wives and your family and the wealth you accumulate and the trade whose loss you fear and the houses you love are dearer to you than Allah and His Messenger, and striving in the way of Allah, then wait for the torment of Allah, and Allah does not guide the transgressors. Respected viewers, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, none of you can have perfect faith until I am more beloved to him than his parents, his children, and all people without doubt. The being of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, is the most deserving of our love. Allah glorified and exalted made the attributes of the final Prophet peace and blessings be upon him. Part of the Quran, your raising of your blessed face toward the sky, your speech, your city, your victorious battles, your night vigil, your invitation and preaching the event of Mirage Ascension. Your honorable companions, may Allah be pleased with them, all your noble Al-Alit household, your Hijra migration, your character, indeed the entire life of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, is mentioned by Allah in the glorious Quran. At some places, the pleasure of Allah is shown through the Prophet's pleasure. If the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, wrapped himself in a cloak, Allah glorified and exalted called him Al-Maymil, the one wrapped in garments, and Al-Mudathir, the one covered elsewhere. He addresses him as Shahid, witness Mubashir, bearer of glad tidings, not here warner. He honored him with the magnificent title, Surj al-Munir, the shining lamp. Allah, the blessed and exalted, does not even like anyone raising their voice in the presence of his beloved Prophet. Peace and blessings be upon him. Allah made our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, the TDE, intercessor on the Day of Judgment, granted him allure, and the Makamal. Mahmud, the praise station, respected viewers, Hazrat Anas, may Allah be pleased with him, states that there are 3 qualities such that anyone who has them has tasted the sweetness of faith. The first is the person who finds Allah and his messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, most beloved. The second is that if he loves someone, he loves them for the sake of Allah. And the third is that he hates to return to disbelief from which Allah has saved him, just as he would hate to be thrown into fire. Thus, without the love of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, it is impossible to attain the sweetness of faith. Furthermore, mere hollow claims do not make one a true lover of the messenger, a true lover of the messenger. Peace and blessings be upon him is one who acts upon the teachings he brought. A blessed hadith states, whoever loves my sunnah loves me, and whoever loves me shall enter paradise. Respected viewers, one day the noble Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, was sitting with his blessed companion when a Bedouin came and asked, O Messenger of Allah, when will the day of judgment come? The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, replied, what have you prepared for it? He said, I have not prepared many prayers, fast, or acts of charity, but I do love Allah and his messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. Hearing this, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, on the day of judgment, every person will be with those he loves. Hazrat Anas, may Allah be pleased with him, narrates after embracing Islam, I never saw the Muslims happier than they were. Upon hearing these words, dear viewers, think about what a magnificent group that was. For the noble companions, may Allah be pleased with them, all loving Allah's messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, and being ready to lay down their lives for him was the real purpose of their lives. The mercy to the worlds, peace and blessings be upon him, says that on the day of judgment, those closest to me will be those who recited the surah in abundance. Allah, glorified and exalted, bestows many blessings on those who frequently recite the surah and happily grants them ever-increasing mercy. Whoever recites this surah on earth, the angels go to the heavens to mention him, and the noble Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, also said that whoever recites this surah will have 100 mercies sent upon him by Allah. It is narrated that Hazabu al-Hasan, Shazi, may Allah have mercy on him, was once in a forest when a wild animal approached him, and he feared for his life. At that moment, he invoked blessings, Durood upon the noble Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. And by the blessing of this act, he was saved from that difficulty. Dear viewers, in today's practice, You have to recite one surah of the Noble Quran and one tasbih, a repeated phrase of Durood, salutations upon the Prophet. Believe that the virtue of this practice is so immense that if you truly knew it, you would never abandon reciting this task, because the one who recites the out is freed from all forms of turmoil, hardships, and troubles. Allah grants him independence and takes responsibility for resolving all his problems. A prophetic instruction says, when you hear the mu'in call to prayer, say the same words as he says. Then send blessings upon me, for whoever sends blessings upon me, once Allah glorified and exalted, sends 10 mercies upon him, Allah praises him. Furthermore, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, wretched is the person who hears my name mentioned, yet does not send blessings upon me. So brothers and sisters, today's practice involves sending Durood upon the Prophet and reciting a surah of the Quran about the virtue and importance of Durood. It is said that Durood is in reality a complete teacher for us, a doctor, a healer, and a means of salvation while living in this world and spending our lives. Durood is everything for us. In the Quran's Madani Surah Allah, verse 56, Allah commands, indeed Allah and his angels send blessings upon the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. O you who believe, send blessings and abundant salutations upon him. Dear viewers, the meaning of this divine command is that whoever desires forgiveness and salvation in the hereafter should abundantly send blessings and salutations upon the noble Prophet. Peace and blessings be upon him. Al-Muhammad Abdurrahman Sahwi, may Allah have mercy on him, explains that the reason behind this is that Allah the Exalted has made sending Durood upon the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, a means for our forgiveness and pardon. Hazrat Anas ibn Malik, may Allah be pleased with him, narrates that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, when two servants of Allah who love each other for his sake meet and send blessings upon me before they separate, they are both forgiven and all their sins are erased. Once a beggar came to Has Ali, may Allah be pleased with him, asking for something because he was in dire need. But Has Ali, may Allah be pleased with him, had nothing to give at that time. So he recited Durood 10 times upon the noble Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, blew it onto the beggar's hands and told him to close his fist. When that beggar went outside and opened his hand, it was filled with gold dinars in the era of Imam Khawaja. Hassan Basri, may Allah have mercy on him, a woman saw in a dream that her daughter was suffering torment and had been seized by the fire of hell. Waking up, she was terrified and went to the court of Khaja Hassan Basri, may Allah have mercy on him, telling him everything and saying, I will not leave until you explain to me or make me understand the reality of this dream. He told her to return the next day. That night, as he lay down to rest, he dreamed of a most beautiful scene. Some heavenly women in paradise talking among themselves. He drew closer and noticed that the same extraordinarily beautiful girl was among them. He asked, who are you? She said, I am the daughter of the woman who came to you for help. He said, but your mother told me you were under punishment in hell. She replied, that is correct. But last night a young man came to the graveyard and recited Durood upon the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, granting forgiveness to all those buried in that graveyard. As a result, Allah, the Blessed and Exalted, turned our sins into good deeds and sent us to paradise. Thus, dear viewers, this is the virtue and blessing of Durood. So recite abundant blessings and salutations upon the noble Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, whoever sends one blessing upon me, Allah the Exalted sends 10 mercies upon him. Whoever sends 10 blessings upon me, Allah of the Exalted sends 100 mercies upon him, and whoever sends 100 blessings upon me, Allah the Exalted will inscribe between his eyes that this person is free from hypocrisy and from the fire of hell on the day of judgment. He will be grouped among the martyrs. Likewise, during the caliphate of Hazrat Umar Kab, may Allah be pleased with him, there was a man who was very wealthy but did not possess good character or conduct. However, he had immense love for Durood and was constant in reciting it. When he reached the last moments of his life, his face turned dark and very distressing. As signs appeared in that condition, he pleaded, "O beloved of Allah, peace and blessings be upon you. I was never negligent in reciting Durood upon you. Why is this happening to me, dear viewers?" As soon as he said this, suddenly a bird came flying from the sky and touched its wing to his face. Immediately his face became radiant, and a pleasant fragrance spread throughout that place. Thus he departed from this world with faith. Someone later saw him in a dream, walking between the heavens and the earth, reciting the verse of the Quran, which means, indeed, Allah and his angels send blessings upon the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. O you who believe, send blessings and abundant salutations upon him, despite his flawed character and behavior. Because of the blessing of Durood, not only did his face become luminous, but he also left this world with his faith intact. Similarly, it is mentioned that on the day of judgment, while a man's deeds are being weighed, if his scale of sins becomes heavier and the angels start to take him toward hell, a most beautiful person will appear. He will place a small piece of paper on the scale of that man's good deeds, and because of that piece of paper, his scale of good deeds will become heavier. Thus the man will be forgiven. He will ask, "Oh, benefactor, who are you? And what did you put on that scale that made my good deeds heavier?" The beautiful person will say, "I am your prophet. Peace and blessings be upon him. And that piece of paper contained the Durood you used to recite upon me." Subhanallah. Therefore, dear viewers, we should all recite as many blessings upon the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, as we can to better our life in this world and in the hereafter. In the same way, those people who recite abundant Durood upon the noble Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, also find their worldly needs fulfilled. Remember, any blessing humanity has received from Allah, glorified and exalted, has come through the noble person of the Prophet. Peace and blessings be upon him, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him himself. Explain my example, your example. And the example of the other prophets is like a group of people traveling in a desolate and scorching desert, not knowing whether they have traveled more than what still remains, tired and exhausted. Their provisions depleted, they lie in the middle of this wilderness. Certain their final moments are near. Suddenly a man appears wearing fresh clothes, water dripping from his head. They say this man must have just come from some settlement. When he reaches them, he asks, "What has happened to you?" They reply, "You can see we are tired, exhausted, out of provisions, and stranded in this wilderness without any helper." He then says, "If I lead you to cool, sweet water and lush gardens, what will you give me?" They respond, "Whatever you ask, we will comply." So he guides them to sweet, cool water and green gardens. After a while, he says, "Rise, and I shall lead you to even more lush gardens and cooler, sweeter water." However, most of them say, "We are satisfied with just this much." Yet one group says, "Didn't we pledge to this man that we would not disobey him? He told us the truth the first time, and surely he is truthful this time as well." So this group sets out with him, and he leads them to gardens even more verdant and springs even sweeter. Meanwhile, an enemy falls upon those who remain behind and kills them by night, leaving only their corpses by morning. Respected viewers, such as Durood, and one should hold fast to it at all times and in every moment, for reciting Durood is a most tremendous honor. Understand that the surah of the Quran that Allah glorified and exalted loves immensely, and by whose recitation a person becomes renowned among the angels, is Surah Allah. Strive to make reciting Surah Allah while moving about a habit. Also continue to recite the tasbih of Durood and see how all your supplications in the court of Allah, Lord of all worlds, gain acceptance. These are great matters of destiny and truly a fortunate path that you adopt this practice of the noble Quran in your life. We pray to Allah, the Blessed and Exalted, to grant all of us the strength and ability to listen to good counsel, understand it, and act upon it. May He accept my speaking and your listening in His exalted court. Now, dear viewers, let us end this video by collectively reciting Durood upon the beloved Prophet. Peace and blessings be upon him. O Allah, send your prayers upon Muhammad and upon the family of Muhammad, just as you sent your prayers upon Ibrahim and upon the family of Ibrahim. Indeed, you are praiseworthy and glorious. O Allah, send your blessings upon Muhammad and upon the family of Muhammad, just as you sent your blessings upon Ibrahim and upon the family of Ibrahim. Indeed, you are praiseworthy and glorious. May Allah, the Blessed and Exalted, be pleased with all of you. Ameen, O Lord of the worlds.